Welcome to Romcorian for the 10th round of the AF1 Championship here in 2021. We are here at this 11-turn, 2.7 mile track for a 71 lap race tomorrow. But first we have the practice and qualifying highlights. We have one lonely DRS zone on the main straight at this track going into the first corner and quite a complex rest of the lap. Sector 1 consists of a long medium speed corner to start the lap, some twisty hairpins throughout the middle sector. The final sector though is where the circuit really gets challenging and also difficult to overtake around here because of the dirty air from that final sector. Two speed traps, obviously at the fastest points of the racetrack, and that completes a lap of Romcorian. So before we get to qualifying, of course, we have practice incidents, as ever, as very common at this track. Esteban Ocon hit the wall rear first in his Alpine, taking him out of the session quite early on. A hard impact for the French driver. And then in FP3, we had a big accident for Nikita Mazepin, who would spin round rear first into the wall in his Haas, hit the wall rear first. Stood the left side of the car hit the wall as well. A big impact. Later in the session, Lando Norris would hit the wall, and as he came back on the track, Carlos Sainz would collide with him as well through turn 1. And Norris would lose it on the curb on the way in through the penultimate corner, and then as he came back on, Sainz would try and graph around the outside, instead made contact, the two of them getting punctures on the front right and rear left respectively. But then qualifying would come along, and Q1 would have an enormous crash for the two Haas cars, as have happened with the two of them many times this season, unfortunately. Mazepin and Schumacher colliding. Schumacher and Mazepin both having hard impacts in this crash. Fastest in Q1 was Max Verstappen, but in Q2 his teammate Sergio Perez would have a massive lockup going into the corner, would lock up hard going into the braking zone, and that would cost him a lot of time. Charles Leclerc was surprised everyone going fastest in that session, and then in Q3 a massive front wing failure for Valtteri Bottas on the curb would be the talking point before the pole position lap, of course. He would go off the circuit. That would ruin his chances, but wouldn't stop him from getting an impressive P2 later on after repairing the car. In Q3, however, Lewis Hamilton would get a great pole lap for Mercedes, another pole to add to his collection this season. It was a great lap from him. Top of what was an interesting session, but here are your qualifying results then. Lewis Hamilton on pole position with Valtteri Bottas alongside a Mercedes 1-2. The two Red Bulls just behind that on the second row of the grid in third and fourth. Ricciardo ahead of Sainz. A great job from the two of them. The number 2 drivers arguably at their team, but outperforming Norris and Leclerc, their teammates. Ocon and Tsunoda with a great job running up the top 10. A surprise, however, for Gasly. Way down 11th outside of Q3 for the first time in a while. Alonso in 12th. A fantastic performance from both Giovinazzi and Russell to get out of Q2, or get out of Q1 rather, into Q2. The two Aston Martins were disappointing, getting 15th and 16th, 17th and 18th to Raikkonen and Latifi. Not the best day for those two. And then Mazepin and Schumacher, of course, crashing out all round out the field here at Romcorian. You're watching Alison Asia AF1 2021 Round 10 practice and qualifying highlights, and I hope you enjoy. Also, lastly, subscribe to Daan Maurice on YouTube. Thank you so much for making this stop motion. It means a lot. It was a great stop motion. It was very well made, very smooth. It was very, yeah, just go subscribe to his channel. Good job.